Hi everybody, Charlie Egan here of Village Properties with another episode from my series titled Home Real Estate Series, episode number 4, Why Don't You Just Bring Me an Offer? There's about 4 or 5 bullet points I want to cover on this. And the question is, why don't you bring me an offer? I'm basically quoting some sellers that I've had been working with, and it just demonstrates their frustration. So let me back up on this a little bit. Sellers get frustrated when they price their properties outside the range that the property should be in. And so if the property is priced out of that range, if you think of the range being a bell curve, and it's that sweet spot, 1 or 2%, maybe 3% within a certain range. And when the property is priced outside of that range, buyers are not going to respond. Buyers are very savvy. 90% of the buyers, more than 90% of the buyers out there have real estate agents who do their research, and they consult with their clients in a very smart and logical way, and they say that property is overpriced. We're not going to waste our time on that. So sellers are the recipient of that sort of frustration, and at a certain point they may just say to me, why don't you just bring me an offer? And so nothing's perfect, but in trying to price a property, if it's outside that range, that's kind of what happens. So I've been there before myself. I've bought and sold several homes, and as a seller, I get emotionally attached, and I don't pay attention to the math, and I'll overprice my home, and I'll have to make adjustments. That's happened to me earlier. I didn't do it in the last time, but it is not totally unnatural for this to happen. But as a professional, and as your professional, or if you have a real estate agent, rely on them to try to keep you honest in that point. So what happens is sellers, when they are frustrated like that, they blame the market as opposed to themselves or the pricing of the property. And when in talking about, it's sort of nonsense to blame the market, because it's a very efficient market. If your home is in the MLS, which most homes are, it's syndicated, and it's on the web, all the social media websites, Zillow, Redfin, it's in the MLS, and it's distributed all over the world. People in Japan, China, Russia can log into the MLS, whatever MLS you're in, and they can see the home there. And so it's, and then they have the real estate agent contact you, and they want us, or the agent contact the other real estate agent, and they move forward in making an offer and investigating the property. So that's not a problem. Marketing is not a problem by and large. I mean, real estate agents have other things they can do. They can push it on social media, they can have open houses, and all those things, and when you do those things, it registers in the MLS, and it also registers in Zillow and Redfin, and it brings up the algorithm so the property gets more exposure and more people see it. But that's not something that doesn't happen. It happens naturally all the time. And often, if you have a real estate agent that's working, they get up off their tail and they start pushing the property, which gives it more exposure. So emotionally, it's hard, as I said, sometimes to price the property, but that's why you have a real estate agent who will give you a range of what to price it at. So the next point I wanted to go on is, if you look at homes that have sold, generally there's between the list price and the sold price, it's generally not more than, in a normal market, between 4%. And so that's where you should try to price your home, of that, where it's going to sell, where you list it and where it's going to sell is within that range. And if you price it outside of that, it makes it difficult. Buyers will not come and look at it, and you won't get any action on it. So the next point I wanted to make is making price adjustments after it's been on the market. Typically here in Santa Barbara, you should know if your home is priced properly within the first 15, 30 days, you'll be getting activity. People might be writing offers. They're coming to the open houses. You can see the meter on the MLS, how many agents are looking at it, and the sort of activity. And if there's not any activity within the first 15 to 30 days, then you know that it's overpriced and that a price adjustment should be made. And making a price adjustment is not a sign of weakness or a mistake or that you're desperate. It's just a logical sequence or step in this whole process of selling a home. And so I don't discourage you from making price adjustments. It doesn't come off as being desperate, and you're not going to attract lowball offers. It's just a logical sequence or consequence of all this. One other thing you can do is in kind of pulling back and being less emotional is just focus on the net sheet, what you're going to walk away with versus the price, because sometimes the price can be misleading and it's not what you're going to be walking away with in terms of netting on the sale of the property. So we're in this all together. Your real estate agent's here to help you. If he is motivated by the price of the property as well as you are, because the more that the property sells for, the more that he's going to make, as well as you are. So there shouldn't be a contentious relationship between your real estate agent and yourself, and realizing that we're all in this together to make it as smooth and as profitable for everyone. So anyway, in closing, I'm Charley Egan with Village Properties, and I'm here to help. And so please, I'll see you on my next episode. Thanks for listening.